Good evening, everybody. I see that we got some people on here, so I want to welcome you to Bossed Up Academy. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media pages and on Instagram, Facebook, and you can also look at our website as well. So please do check it out. I'm sorry. So we want to talk tonight with you. And if you got any questions or comments or anything, please do drop them. And I'm going to try my very best to answer any questions that you have. So I want to start by talking about why does it cost more to be broke? The first thing is your health. When you tend to not have enough money, I'm pretty sure you've heard people say, oh, I can't afford my medicine, or elderly person that cannot afford their medicine because they don't have the funds in order to purchase their medicine. Also, when you are broke, you tend to not eat healthy because it essentially costs you more to eat healthy than to eat healthy. Why do they have the dollar menu at McDonald's? Why? Because people that don't have enough expendable income, they're eating off the dollar menu, they're eating burgers. So that is shortening your life. So not only is broke dealing with your health, but you also have issues with you not being able to save money because you don't have any leverage when it comes to buying things. If you're broke, you might not have a car. So if you don't have a car, you're having to get things from the corner store rather than going to Walmart or Costco or BJ's to buy in bulk or to get larger quantities because you don't have access to do that. So essentially, to buy a same 6-pack from the corner store as you could get at Walmart, it's probably going to cost you double. So a lot of times, if you don't have adequate transportation because of being broke, then that is going to cost you more. Also, think about most people spent their money before Christmas. So after Christmas sales, when they put those $100 shirts on sale for pharmacy, great information, pharmacy, good job. They put those $100 shirts on sale. Well, guess what? If you didn't have any money to participate in the after Christmas sale, then essentially you didn't have any money, so you couldn't buy that shirt that's going to cost you $100 when you get your tax money that somebody else bought 5 of at the after Christmas sale because they had the disposable money in order to do that. So you got to think about, you can't take advantage of sales because at the time that you do have money, there may not be a sale going on. Also, interest rates. A lot of times, and this is not across the board, but a lot of people that are broke generally have bad credit. And they have bad credit. Why? Because of the simple fact that they can't pay their bills and they got late payments that's destroying their credit on their credit report. So now that interest rate, instead of you getting a 1% interest rate or no interest on your car, now you got a 10% interest rate. So that car payment just went from $400 to $600. What could you do with an extra $200 a month in your household income if you really don't have a lot of money to spend? Also, when you go to the car dealership, you are sitting there with your fingers crossed, praying, hoping, wishing that you get approved for a car. And you basically got to take whatever interest rate they give you because you hoping that Drive Time or one of those credit places or even online financing will take you, versus if you come in there and you got down payment, or if you don't want to do a down payment and you just want to take the car off the lot, then you don't have the ability to do that because of your financial situation. And like I said, not all the time, but most of the time, some people say, oh, I'm broke because all my bills are paid. Well, that might be true, but do you really have leverage in your life? So I wanted to come on here tonight to talk about that you don't necessarily have to be in this situation forever. You don't have to continue with generational curses. You can break those curses. You can overcome the costing more to be broke. So within saying that, you got to surround yourself with different people. Different people are going to give you a different conversation. I know a lot of people are joining Clubhouse, and I want to give you a little plug. Tomorrow we're doing an episode on Clubhouse tomorrow at 7:00 with some other boss ladies. So tune in to that. But you got to change your conversation, because if you hanging around broke people and they talking about broke stuff, or they not talking about how to better your situation, then is your situation going to change? Also, people with money don't want to hang around people that are constantly begging from them, trying to eat off them. And a lot of times, if you hang around people that have money, then what they will do is they might even pay for your food. Have you ever gone out to a restaurant and you with 8 people, they won't either the person, can you separate the bill? Can you please separate the bill? Or they're saying, oh my gosh, we got to get out a calculator and I'm going to figure out how much each person owe. Versus if you go out with people that are bosses, they might say, we ain't got time to separate a bill. I'm going to pay for your food. So you end up with a free meal versus everybody trying to get a calculator out to calculate up what part of the bill they owe. So I'm not saying that you can't hang around certain groups of people, but in order to better yourself, and people say, oh God, why do you think people think they better than them? Guess what? God says, and then you can read this in the Bible, it says, be the lender, not the borrower. If you broke, who are you gonna lend to? Who are you gonna give something to? So in the Bible, it teaches you prosperity. So why does the Bible talk about prosperity and abundance if God wants you to be living out the bottom of the barrel? If it's quote unquote bougie to do certain things, why does the world have those things? Why does the Bible talk about prosperity? Why is your preacher living better than you? But it's okay for you to wonder how you're going to pay your light bill, but your preacher is living 10 times better than you. Is that fair? Is that because he is the man of the cloth, so you don't deserve what the leader deserves? No. They make these things because it's out here for you to go get it, to strive. And I want to come on here because guess what? This is 2021. WON. You got to already claim it that you have won. You have won. And the way to change your mindset, and I'm so glad that people are chiming in with change your way of thinking, revamp your way of thinking, your mindset. You got to change the conversation. You got to change your thought process about how you look at things. So how do you overcome this broke? Well, you got these people out here teaching you, get that free, get that free, get that free. Okay, let's take an example. This is the number one thing that people tell. I'm going to pay off my car. Okay, So now you saving $400 a month. How many people paid off their car and actually saved that $400? And then you got to sit here with your fingers crossed and hope your car don't break down, and you got to do $2,000 worth of repairs, which is going to put you back up for another 4 months of car payments, 5 months of car payments. So once you pay off that car, are you really going to save that $400 a month? Okay, let's say you are super disciplined because you are in a budget financial analyst class and they are telling you to save all this money, and you are going to get so disciplined and do this. So you're going to make yourself suffer. You're not going to go out to eat. You're not going to enjoy life because you're going to be probably miserable. So you can't do nothing because you got to save this money. Okay, at best, you save $4,800 after a year of having no car payment. What are you going to do with that $4,800? Drop it in the comments. Tell me, after you done paid off your car for a whole year and you actually saved all those car payments, what are you going to do with that money? Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you're going to do with that $4,800. I don't hear y'all. I'm still here. Tell me what you're going to do with the $4,800. Most people going to say, I'm going to invest it. Well, why didn't you invest it 12 months ago so that you could pay the car payment and have money left over? Would you not rather have invested the energy that you put in to paying that car? Yeah, right. Thank you, Oprah. That means the average person is going to spend the money because something's going to happen. That car ain't going to work after you pay it off. Soon as that car know you got the title, it's going to start making noises. You're going to need and then somebody else said, okay, they're going to buy some stocks. Oh, well, we're going to got some people that just going to be honest. They're going to just straight up spend that $4,800 and be broke all over again. Get some education so that you can build on your knowledge, and that's a part of it, is being a sponge for knowledge. People that are broke do not like to gain new information. I mean, and you have to have these hard conversations in order to do better. Where they say you don't know better. I mean, you can't do better until you know better. So that's where education is. You got to be a sponge for information if you're going to overcome being broke. Another reason that, okay, we got this $4,800, now you're going to invest it, but why couldn't you have been disciplined enough to invest it beforehand, have enough money to pay that $4,800 for that year, and have money left over? And if some people, most will make enough another bill. Yeah, you're going to go and buy a motorcycle. I paid my car off. I go get me a motorcycle now. So not completely broke. Okay, exactly. So is this what you want? And do you want to keep repeating this cycle? So I want to tell you, you're going to have to get debt in order, but you got to see debt in a different way. You got to see debt as leverage. And you can't just create bad debt. Bad debt is what keeps you broke. But if you create debt that's going to give you leverage, it's a whole new ball game. Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men on the planet. What did he have to do? Borrow $250,000 from his parents. Okay, no, everybody's parents don't have $250,000 to give them, but he had to borrow money. He had to get some debt. So he borrowed $250,000 from his parents. He didn't just say, okay, I'm going to start a business from scratch and I'm going to build it up using nothing. Even Donald Trump, he got $1 million from his dad. But guess what he did? Went and took out some loans and used his debt to get more money. Okay, everybody, number one, and I'm going to get some people that's going to be mad, Dave Ramsey. Well, guess what? Dave Ramsey didn't tell you that he filed bankruptcy. And he had to learn and climb back up the ladder by selling you programs, selling you all these things. But do you think that when he filed bankruptcy that he completely wiped out everything and had nothing? But that's not the part of people's story that they tell you. They tell you the good, shiny part. Okay, good question to you. What's the difference between good and bad debt? Good debt leverages you to make more money. Bad debt is that debt that ain't gonna make you no money and you gotta struggle to pay. So, therefore, okay, for example, yes, this is a debt, but you got long-term debt and you got short-term debt. I go get me a credit card. My credit card got rewards on it. I'm gonna put gas in my car. I'm gonna buy groceries. I'm gonna eat out. I'm gonna go to the movies. I'm gonna do all the things that I do that I'm gonna spend cash on. But I'm gonna put it on my credit card. Now I've got rewards points. I can cash those rewards points in and take a vacation for free based on money that I was going to spend anyway. But they're going to tell you, credit up your credit cards, get debt free. It's when you start carrying debt that you don't have no way to pay for, that's bad debt. If I go out here and I don't have $1,000, but I want to buy me a vending machine, because most people say, oh, you need to start a business or you need to buy some real estate. That is not for everybody. Everybody, they're not cut out for that. And it's okay if you're not cut out for that. But what is mandatory in life is investing. Investments. May it be the stock market. Maybe you go get a vending machine. And I'm using a vending machine just because people can grasp this concept. You go out and put $1,000 vending machine on your credit card, and your minimum payment is, say, $25 a month. Well, what if you decide, I'll get this vending machine up and I'm just going to use low numbers. That's right. Find you a hustle that you enjoy and monetize it. So it don't have to necessarily deal with real estate or quote unquote business. So if I go out and I buy this vending machine for $1,000 on my credit card, and then most people are like, oh, that's going to be 29%. Well, it depends on your credit. Because guess what? People with good credit, guess what? They going to get a 0% interest rate on their credit card. And they might have 12 months, no interest. So guess what? They ain't even paying no interest on it. But worst case scenario, I'm coming out of my brokenness. So guess what? My interest rate is 29%. So that means I'm going to pay about $29 a month, and I'm just rounding this off, for interest on my $1,000. But my vending machine is bringing me $200. My minimum payment is $25, and all of that's pretty much going to interest. So if I take, and that means that if I take that $200 that I'm making off my vending machine as profit, I have money to pay for my credit card bill, and I got money if I want to put it on the principal of that vending machine to pay it off quicker. And now, once I get that vending machine paid off, whether I'm sick, I don't feel good, guess what? I'm still going to make $200 if I never roll out of bed. So where can you do that if you constantly put your money on bills, constantly saying you want to live debt free? It's just not possible. And it's no reason for you to put yourself in a predicament not to enjoy your life. Everybody say life too short. Life too short not to be happy. Well, life too short to sit here and be broke all the time and not do nothing about it. And then, or you trying to do something about it, you can't save as fast as inflation going. So if you think about it, Okay, those jeans that, just say when I was in high school, we wore Guess jeans. So Guess jeans were maybe $60 back then. Well, now you might pay $120 for a pair of True Religion because people not wearing Guess right now. Or, $200 for some Hudson jeans. Or Joe's. So guess what? If you put that $60, say, I ain't gonna buy those jeans, I'm gonna put this $60 in the bank, you might end up with $66. But now you got to figure out a way, how am I going to buy these jeans that cost $200? Because so it would have been cheaper for you to buy those jeans 5 years ago and just put them in the closet and say, I'm going to wear them 5 years later. Because guess what? You can't beat inflation through saving. So now to save $60, to gain $6 over that same period, now you got to go spend $200 for the same item. Does that make sense? So you got to talk to people about money, understand how money works, and go for there. And then opposite for those that have bad credit, how can they beat the interest? Right, but you got to get yourself to that point. You got to crawl before you walk. And people cannot get themselves so concerned with the interest that you keep it from making you money. So even if you got to take that 29% interest, but if it's going to make you $200, why not do it until you can get yourself in a better situation? So you're going to say, oh, I'm not going to pay them $29 a month in interest. But that's going to keep me from making basically $171. Does that make sense to do that? So you got to ask yourself, what is your end goal? What do you want for yourself? Do you want, hey, I'm not going to pay them $29 a month to make $171? It doesn't make sense. So you may have to take those higher interests until you can get your credit straight, either go to credit repair or work on your credit and let that $171 pay off some of that bad debt so that your score can increase, or that secure credit card that you never had money for. Now you can go and get you a secure credit card to get you more lines of credit to establish more credit. So then that way your credit score can continue to increase. So it's anything that you have a plan, a strategy for, you can overcome bad credit. But you got to know how to leverage it. And it goes back to good debt versus bad debt. I see people saying people posing, doing photo ops about how much of their student loan money they paid off. I seen somebody, they paid over $100,000 off of their student loan debt during the pandemic since last January. Well, with $102,000 between your side hustles, your investments, now they done ripped off their retirement to pay off the student loan debt that's at 3% interest that cost them $3,000 a year, less than $300 a month. So you done ripped off half of your 401k. So you done went from negative net worth to a zero net worth when you could have took that same $100,000, invested it, made $150,000. Oh, well, even, I'm just using small numbers. So if you use that to make $150,000, now you got $100,000 that you can kick over here, but you still got $50,000. Versus if you go and say, oh, I'm taking my net worth from negative, now I'm sitting on zero. Now I got to figure out how to get in the positive when you could have just straight invested and use that to offset your negative. Because remember, a positive always offsets a negative. So why wouldn't you do that? Now you're sitting on broke, and if something happens, you done took all your investment, all your money. You don't have a cushion no more, because guess what? I want to be debt free. Now something has come up, you don't have the money to pay for it. Whereas you could have built an income that will pay that debt plus give you change left over. So you got to be willing to take risk. Risk is involved in anything you do. So why not take the risk? What are you risking? Risking that you'll still be broke? What is the risk? It's very minimal risk in taking a risk when you already broke. You don't have really anything to lose. Maybe you lose $500 because it didn't work out. But if you have a solid plan, how many times will it not work out? Just like if you have a solid plan to save and reduce and budget, why can't you have a solid plan to invest and make more money to wipe out your negatives? And once your negatives wiped out, you still generate more money and you're not sitting on a zero. So you gotta think about money different. And that's a part of changing your circle, changing who you talk to, doing research, getting information, improving yourself in order to make things better for your life. Also, you got to think about your big why in life. If your big why in life are your children, then do you want your children to face the same obstacles that you're facing because you tell them, Mommy don't have any money, but the bills are paid and we are debt free? Is that what you want for your kids? Or do you want, no, we may not become Jeff Bezos of the world and be the richest people on the planet, but can you be the parents of Jeff Bezos to your kids where you're able to give them something for them to build something better than what you have or had? So it's not always about being the Jeff Bezos of the world. Be the parents of Jeff Bezos so that you can put your kids in a better situation, a better position that you are in. No, because Jeff Bezos' parents, they wasn't trillionaire, billionaire status, but guess what? They had enough status to put their kid in a better situation. So you got to think about that and create leverage. And the biggest thing that I see people that can't overcome broke is fear. You got to overcome it. And it comes back. Everybody, I saw probably 5 people commented mindset. You got to change your mind. You got to overcome fear. Because guess what? Fear don't make moves. Fear stands still. Fear is stagnant. So do you want to make moves or do you want to be stagnant? So I would say in closing, know your big why, get some discipline, yes, and get you some good debt that's going to leverage you, and reduce your fear and increase your risk, because with big risk comes big return, even though it can have big losses. But just like Dave Ramsey, he bounced back from bankruptcy. Why can't you? If you don't have nothing to lose, then but to continue to be broke and for your situation to stay the same. You don't have nothing to lose. That's right. Fear cannot grow. Fear is just there. So yes, and thank you, Deanna, for saying using other people's money. That's a part of having good debt to use it for leverage. Never buy anything you can't buy twice. And true indeed, I like the legacy mindset for your last name, not your first. But you got to get yourself to the point. If when you're broke, yes, it's people say never buy anything that you can't buy twice. But guess what? You got to get yourself to that level. And it's levels to everything. And if you on the lowest end of the totem pole, guess what? You ain't got that money to buy it twice. You ain't got that money to buy that vending machine twice. So guess what? You got to make money, take that money, make more money, and repeat. Then you get to that level of buying something that never buying anything that you can't buy twice. But there's an exception to every rule for everything. And you got to understand that. So sometimes you got to take a risk for that thing that you can't buy twice right now, and go and buy it and leverage it and make it do what it do. And what Eric Thomas say, want it as bad as you can want to breathe. So guess what? If you do it as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll make it happen. And then you will be able to buy it twice. Well, I'm going to get off my soapbox, and I want to encourage everybody. I'm having 2 seminars in February, Broke to Paid, and it's dealing with real estate investing. And I'm also having a workshop on workers to bosses, because a lot of people, I'm seeing a lot of people starting self-employment. They're not starting a business. They starting self-employment, because guess what? Their operation don't run if they're not there. So thank you, Yessie. Yes. So you don't want to be self-employed. You want to be a business owner. So workers to bosses clearly shows you how to be a boss and not a worker. Because a lot of people, yes, you might be working for yourself. That's self-employed. But I want to teach you how to be a business owner. That means if you are sick, if you are out of town, if you just don't feel like going today, guess what? You still gonna make money. That business still gonna run without you. So remember, there's a difference between being self-employed versus being a business owner. You want to be a business owner. If you're going to put in the work to do that, why be self-employed? I see I got some more comments before it's time for me to come. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Jesse. Yes, you got to elevate yourself, and you got to believe in yourself. And on the other side of fear is success. It's the business owner for me. Yes, honey. Business owner, not self-employed. We got to get away from this whole being self-employed thing. We got to be business owners in 2021. Thank you, Q, for tuning in. Thank y'all all for tuning in and listen to me ramp and rave. And if you have more topics that you want to me to discuss or elaborate on, or if you want to share the platform with me and be a guest and we do a live together, then I would gladly appreciate that, and I would gladly welcome that. And tomorrow, if you're on Clubhouse, and I know it's just for iPhone users right now, but if you are on Clubhouse, we're going to be doing a special with some other boss ladies tomorrow at 7 o'clock. If not, I'm going to try to stream it live on my Facebook for the people that's got Android, so that way you can kind of still listen in, provided that we don't have a lot of feedback. So I do plan. Oh, thank you, Deanna. Thank you all. So please do tune in tomorrow for the 7 o'clock, and there's going to be some good ladies, very influential ladies, boss ladies, a lot of branding, a lot of nuggets that's going to be given. And the best part is free. So guess what? And then I'm glad I have an opportunity to buy a business for $6,000. I have 6 years to pay for the business. Income is $18,000. Should I pay it out in 3 years or 2 years? Are they charging you interest? That's the question. So if they charging you a set amount and you got 6 years to pay them, why not invest more in your business or invest that money and be able to pay them off? So at 18, yes, thank you, Cody. Yes, tune in. So the answer to that question, and I mean, some people want to be quote unquote debt free, but if I could stretch out $18,000, and you're not paying no interest because you already got that set amount. So there's unless there's some kind of perk to paying it off early, why would you pay it off early? Because you could use that overage money to leverage, because most businesses fail within oh yeah, I will record it too, Dan. But most businesses fail within the first 5 years. So why are you going to stress yourself not knowing what those first 5 years? I don't know how long you've been in this career or field, but why would you try to stress yourself on the first 2 or 3 years to pay it off, and you don't even know if you're going to be able to sustain yourself for 6 years? And what if you need that money in year number 4 because your expenses grew, or another pandemic hit and you wasn't able to work? But can you go back and borrow that money that you've already paid off for that business? So in that question, I would say I would not pay it off. I would use my whole 6 years. I'm going to tell you, student loan people, when I have my student loans, I owe $500. The lady said, man, would you like to pay us off? No, I'm going to pay you $100 a month. Because guess what? It wasn't but like $2 or $3 in interest. I'm going to slow walk you, because guess what? I'm not using my $500 on that right now, because I'm going to make more money with that $500 that I owe you. And I'm going to pay you that $3 in interest and keep it moving, and pay you when it's due to you. So that's what I'm saying about understanding interest, understanding terms, and creating leverage and bad debt over good debt. You got to learn it. It's no way around learning that. I don't care. Just like, and I'm going to get off here, getting on my little tangents. If Yeezy took PPP money, I cannot stress this enough of why should you not take it? If Joel Osteen, a preacher, if he took PPP money, why shouldn't you? If Tom Brady took PPP money, why shouldn't you? Because the common thread is they understand money, and money creates leverage, no matter how much you already have. Because as good as money comes, money can go. So you got to understand money. You got to understand leverage. And you got to take advantage of what is offered to you, and not because you don't have an understanding, because there's a miseducation, that you're ill-informed, you're misinformed about how money works. That's the biggest key. You got to understand how the money works and create leverage.